more fan Pokemon movesets. If you want a moveset build for any Pokemon, especially as we get closer to Pokemon Champions, go and subscribe to me on Kick, and then leave a follow so you know when I'm streaming, and then we can cook up some crazy stuff live, starting off with a Bellibolt revisit, because I thought Bellibolt was going to be playable at the very least, because Electromorphosis is pretty crazy, that you just get double electric damage when you take a hit. And it's fairly tanky. 109, 91, you go all in on that. Even with the 83, yeah, you're going to be a high 2-hit KO Pokemon, if not just a 3-hit KO Pokemon. And then you're doing double electric damage at 103 special attack. You're slow because you're always getting hit, and you're always going to be charged. It gets Parabolic Charge. Game Freak had the idea for this Pokemon, and then I tried it, and it was never successful. Mostly because Ting Lu exists. And then also, just any ground-type Pokemon is going to ruin your day. So the epiphany here is Soak and Anti-Stall. And I think this might be what kind of solves Bellibolt. Because, okay, like you soak a Ting Lu, and then you hit it with Parabolic Charge, and then you get all of your health back because it's a tank Pokemon, and that kind of works. Now, soaking a Ting Lu and then hitting it with a charged Parabolic Charge is not a one-hit KO, which is crazy, but the hope is, like, you get enough health back, and then you're good to go. The item is the only weird thing, and it might be the only usable case for Big Root, because if you're thinking, oh, why not put in Magnet? Because Magnet is going to give you 20% more damage, so that's 10% more healing, but it doesn't change the health cap. That if you do 100% to an opponent, you're not even healing 50% because it's based off of their hit points and yours, and they're not going to be a highly invested 109 base hit point Pokemon for the most part. So like you hit a sweeper and you're only getting 30% of your health back. Magnet might change the damage, but it doesn't change how much you're healing. And then if it's a 2-hit KO, you're going to be getting that over time, which is also why Shell Bell is the worst item in the game. That's like, okay, it's either leftovers on a 2-hit KO, or you get 1/8 extra max. But if you're trying to get like 50% of your health back, it's not really that crazy. So that's where I'm thinking Big Root, because the whole idea behind this is like Electromorphosis, doubling your damage, you're modest, you have all the stats going on. If it's a Pokemon that isn't offensively threatening you, you soak it, and then you get like the guaranteed KO on a super effective hit, or you just have a 2-hit KO no matter what. Magnet doesn't turn anything into a 1-hit KO, and then nothing else really changes that, so it's really just, yeah, Big Root gives you 30% more healing, always. So at least you have a bigger pool to heal from, and then you're staying around longer. Sucker Punch for the Focus Sash and revenge scenarios. Substitute, because if they're setting up as a tank, this could just ruin their life. Like, you sub into a Ting Lu that goes Stealth Rocks, you soak it, and then you hit 2 Parabolic Charges. Now you're actually, like, winning, close to full health, and it's a Bellibolt that can still take a hit, do its Electromorphosis shenanigans, and then maybe find another, like, huge hit, or just save, or, like, go for a 1-for-1 plus. Yeah, sure. Now, if you're not finding enough damage, or if it is, like, weird where the meta is, oh, yeah, actually, I would be getting more KOs with Magnet, you can use that, but Big Root is, like, about the sustain and staying around as much as possible, but then it just kind of comes down to, or leftovers, where, like, you survive, you heal from the Parabolic Charge, and then leftovers is going to be pretty much that. Like, if you're healing 30% of your health from the Parabolic Charge, and then the Big Root is just turning that into, like, 39%, well, leftovers is 6%, so it's more, like, consistent, stable on the leftovers. And it's, like, one of those things where I don't know if this actually works super duper well, but I think this is, like, the best interpretation of Bellibolt to find the most success, is that you have the soak, and then you have consideration for the healing, and then you need that little bit of anti-tank, and then it might be better than just, oh, you're supposed to go Specs, Parabolic, and one-shot everything, but they always have ground Pokemon, and for some reason that just didn't work. Like, I don't know why it didn't work to just go Specs, Parabolic Charge, one-shot everything, max hit points. And then, like, this spread is just kind of, yeah, everything skews a bit more special. You want to speed creep a little bit because 45 is actually a speed tier now. Who would have guessed? And that looks like this, and you're optimized as much as possible. Next up, we have Luxray. So, Luxray is just kind of another one of those Pokemon where, well, what kind of interpretation are we supposed to have in Generation 9? And it's straightforward. Like, there's two ways a moveset can break down for an underutilized Pokemon. Is like, you have to be disgustingly, surprisingly straightforward to unlock the Pokemon's power in maybe like a way that could be easily overlooked, or you have to find something it does that no other Pokemon does. So Luxray, I think, is like the only agility guts Pokemon. So that's like its niche. And then instead of trying to do like something weirder than that, it's like, okay, we actually just play it as an agility guts sweeping Pokemon, and maybe the sauce, like maybe this thing's actually busted because the sauce becomes Facade with your guts, and then you Terra Normal, and now you actually just find the one-shots on everything, Supercell Slam being good. And I guess if it's going to be about the Facade, then you want the Crunch to hit Ghost-type Pokemon. And there you go. I don't think there's really anything else to say other than hope you don't get outsped and hope you KO. But much like Bellibolt, it's like the Pokemon isn't good. It's not like we found some secret S tier, now this is a top tier super sweeping Pokemon kind of idea. But if you can find the best interpretation of a Pokemon that otherwise sees no play, at least maybe it kind of creeps into viable, if not good. And this might actually just be a good moveset now that apparently no one else found. You do have to survive, and it's kind of hard to survive like 80, 79, 79, but it's better than like Life Orb setup or anything like that. You just become fast and into the right thing, or if you're not getting like immediately specs by a 140 base stat Pokemon, you'll survive and you'll be at red bar, but then you're one-shotting everything until priority happens, and that's going to be the best way to get anything done on Luxray. Now, unfortunately, and I don't even mean to flame. It's like, yeah, give me $5 on the sub and then I'll flame you. But someone's like, I need a Gliscor moveset. And it could also be one of those like obvious just affirmation things or like confirmation things where there's really nothing else to Gliscor than what it is. That you just go on Pokemon Home, you look up Gliscor, and then you see the most common moveset, and that's it. And I think this is one of those weird things where you're like, this is 80%, and then the next highest move is like 8%. Or something for like any kind of off tech that it might run. I think it's Earthquake is number 1, and then Knockoff is like the next one on that. So this just works. Don't tell me, or don't ask me how does this work, because I don't even know. Gliscor lands, and it's either your team can't do anything about it because your tank Pokemon just lose. They get set up on with the substitute, they get Toxic, they get Protect. Gliscor ends up health positive because of like Toxic, Protect, Sub, Protect. Shenanigans happen, and then you just lose somehow, and you don't have enough damage to break it down. It can like infinity stall you out somehow, and then that's kind of it, and it works. It has a couple of Terra options, like Terra Water, can't do anything about it. Terra Steel, can't really do anything about it. Earthquake actually hurts because it's a 95 attack using Stab Earthquake. So that's just finishing damage right there. And then Gliscor can, like, if Gliscor gets the KO, then that means it's getting the Poison Heal. And then it has a free Protect coming. So that's where, like, it finds its health positiveness, I guess. Where it's like, yeah, but if it's just, like, stalling forever and it has to take a hit on the Toxic, where does it get its health back? It gets its health back on that KO turn, where you get the finishing blow on like Knockoff, or that just reduces damage and effectiveness. The Earthquake still does a lot. They get ticked down. There you go. Or again, like you trade into a sweeping Pokemon, just kind of disrupt them. Toxic, Protect, get your health back. Switch into something else. Gliscor lands in a slower part of the game. And then it just works, and I don't know. Then some people say, should I run defensive or should I run special defensive? Special defense has like synergy for specific Pokemon if you have like an Assault Vest Pokemon, a Blissey, or something with naturally high amounts of special defense. If not, like, just do this and then take on the world, and then use your Terra type to be like, oh, it's a special attack coming. They're going to hit me with a Moonblast, Flutter Mane. Go Terra Steel. Now you just don't take damage even without much investment, and then they get toxic and messed up by it. I think that's kind of it. Power creep, I don't know. The way the game works is that you always choose wrong. That's like, okay, we have defense with max amount of special defense, and now for some reason you just don't survive anything. So specialize, stall, it works or it doesn't, but it's stupid effective. It just feels more powerful. Like, oh, why did this work? How can I not do anything to the Gliscor? Well, it's only like 15% of situations, but then you have some kind of memory bias where, oh, I remember that 15% a lot more, and I just felt helpless. So yeah, you're either helpless against Gliscor, or you're not, and there's no other special sauce or way or tech, no skill to this Pokemon. It works or it doesn't. Next up, we can talk about Milotic, where it was just kind of the same idea of Sleep Talk Dragon Tail is a funny combo when you get it. And I was trying to compare it to Dragonair because I remember that back in the day. The Dragonair that would just go Thunder Wave, Rest, Sleep Talk with Dragon Tail, and then it has the Marvel Scale as well with the Eviolite. But Milotic is just better. So I don't know why Dragonair was a gimmick for a while, when Milotic was just better the entire time, doing the same thing. It's like, I think it's as tanky as Dragonair, so Leftovers is just free. And then Marvel Scale, you just want to Rest and then Sleep Talk. If you Scald Burn them, great. If you outspeed them, even better on the Dragon Tail, just cancel their turn. You want to do this into Hazards, and then you just cycle the opponent's turn. Cycle the opponent's team. There's nothing they can do about it. And then I don't know what else Milotic wants to do. This is just for speed tier. That way I think you creep into 85 speed a little bit. You go all in on your special defense, and like Keyberry is an option where it's like take a hit, Keyberry, and then you coil, and now you're twice as tanky defensively. So you can recover, and then you just play for like Hyper Disruption. You lock them in on a Whirlpool, even if they like switch into something, like the Whirlpool chip is still a thing, and then like Confuse Ray, Q Charm. So just make it to where like, the opponent has no way of hitting you, and then you just kind of get too tanky for them to deal with. But also, like, if you're coiling, you kind of maybe have a physical option, but also at the same time, not really with 60 attack. Even if you hit like 4 coils, the damage isn't there. So like you can try to go for something offensive here. I just think that there might just be a better situation if you go Confuse Ray. They hit themselves, they can't attack you, and then at the very least, they eventually die to Whirlpool, and you're just a Pokemon they can't do anything with. It's kind of like a fun little Stolly set. Don't know if it's good. And then we also kind of take it further with Hypnosis Dragon Tail. So Coil Dragon Tail, never going to miss. Coil Hypnosis, eventually doesn't miss. And then the whole point here, kind of same idea. Max Special Defense, and then you just become like twice. Like, so actually, here's the interesting thing. Keyberry 1 Coil. Now we have, if I can do that, we have the same amount of special defense, effectively. So we're just that tanky on maxed out hit points. If we're a 3-hit KO Pokemon, we just kind of stay ahead forever, and then land a Hypnosis, Dragon Tail, survive, like, and then, actually, no, you land a Hypnosis, you recover, and then you Dragon Tail, and then, like, Hypnosis, Dragon Tail, recover as you need, GG easy. If special attacks are overwhelming, depends on the meta, and then you do, like, Terra Fairy or something. Maybe Moringa Berry. The thing is, the Moringa Berry is risky, but it also means, like, oh, a +1 special defense Milotic that somehow finds the 2 coils is just GG. And then, like, yeah, the entire team actually just falls asleep, gets chipped on Dragon Tail, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing they can do about it. I wonder, like, 1, where was this set in previous generations? Why wasn't this a thing when people were still, like, running Milotic kind of frequently? 2, the power creep in the game is insane, so it's kind of hard to find a 95-79 setup opportunity, but if you get it, that's kind of a win, especially if you're, like, gambling a bit on the Moringa Berry. And if anything kind of, like, makes it to where Milotic is bulky enough to survive things and play the game again, funny little moveset you can run, I guess. And then the last one for this batch is Nidoking, where we pretty much just discovered, not even discovered, we learned and just kind of confirmed that Nidoking is one of the worst Pokemon ever in the game right now, because why run this when Landorus exists? Like, Landorus is just bulkier, better Nidoking. And we're talking about, like, Incarnate Landorus, so we have sheer force special attacks. Like, your Incarnate Landorus with much better stats, and then you don't have Ice Beam. Boo-hoo. Except maybe you can even go, like, Terra Ice, and then shenanigans happen. Garchomp, same thing. Like, if you're trying to do, whatever on Nidoking, Swords Dance Garchomp is just better. But if you really want to make Nidoking work, or you're hopeful for the future or something, this might be the play where we did something weird. Again, it's one of those things where you either look for a signature thing that Nidoking can do, which it has nothing. It's a Generation 1 generic Sugimori Pokemon. Like I said, like, Landorus is better, Garchomp is better, and if you want to find something weird, like, oh, Curse Amnesia, Chesto Resto, Fissure, what about that? Actually, tons of Pokemon have Curse Amnesia, Fissure, and a lot of them actually have Slack Off. So, if you're trying to think about that, Hippowdon's better. So there's no winning with Nidoking, which is kind of the tragic thing about it. which means, okay, it doesn't get anything signature, so just take the honest interpretation, modernize it, and hope it works. That maybe even this is as simple as it gets, but the reason why we had it set up the way we did is that this speed creeps 85 speed. This makes you as bulky as possible. So, like, good hit point investment into 81 with, like, 77, 75. Like, why is this thing as frail as, like, sweeper Pokemon when it looks like this? It's got armor. It's bulky. It's a tank, but actually not really. So this thing needs, like, giga buffs to be popular. But if this goes to, like, 90-90 or something, and then, like, 85-90, and they just kind of, like, streamline this Pokemon, could actually get pretty interesting. If not, like, yeah, most bulk, you survive. The idea is you can survive a sweeping hit, and then you just need to go super effectives. If you're not landing a super effective hit, you lose the game. If you land a super effective hit, sheer force, whatever, that's a one-shot. It's like Ice Beam Super, Sludge Wave Stab is still really powerful. Earth Power is just a great move. Like, Stab Earth Power is great when any Pokemon gets access to it, but Nidoking doesn't really find too many ways to use it. However, if you're going up against something like a Golden Go that doesn't have Air Balloon, you use that, you outspeed the bulkier sets with the Earth Power, and then just kind of GG easy after that. So it is a wall breaker. Like, I think this, finding the right speed tier, going into wall breaking Nidoking, is the best it can do. And it might actually be, like, with its coverage, better than a lot of Pokemon. But I didn't kind of, like, specifically look up, oh, what's 90 speed wall breaking looking like if you got some bulk and then, like, you try to turbo some damage in. But, like, Nidoking might just be the best at this. So if you use the rest of your team to take down, break down all of your opponent's fast Pokemon, maybe you trade with their last sweeper, and if you just outspeed the rest of your opponent's team with a slightly crept 85, this can actually close out games better than a lot of other Pokemon. And again, that's kind of like the best honest interpretation of the Nidoking. And that's kind of what we got for the last couple of rounds off the subs. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.